we now have a version of Pathfinder that is a fully integrated CAM system. So we can now nest parts directly out of SolidWorks. We're doing that using the EnRoute engine, so we call it Pathfinder powered by EnRoute, or Pathfinder PBE. So if you have an assembly like this and you like to cut it, the first thing you do is you assign material to each part. So you just window select or individually select these parts and click the drop down, select Kensington Maple, tell it what face should be face up. In this case it's good two-sided material, so I'm going to go NA. Grain direction will be the long direction. I've shown this in other videos, so I won't go through it in a lot of detail, but it's very easy. Just click the parts, assign material, click OK, and it automatically applies texturing to all the parts. And now this bottom part is 1 inch thick, so I'm going to select Kensington Maple 1 inch 5x10, click OK. You see the texturing updates. So grain direction is, you can actually visually see that the grain is going the long direction on these parts. And I want to emphasize that these parts can be drawn in any method you want. You can import solids from another CAD system. You can draw them using extrude cut. There's no restrictions on how you come up with these shapes. Pathfinder will analyze the shapes and create machining for them. Okay, so if we're ready to cut this, you simply click Generate Toolpaths and click Process. So Pathfinder will now analyze the parts and lay them down flat, and it turns them translucent, and it adds machining for each machining feature, and you can actually review it and make sure that it's on the layer that you want and the right machining operation is going to be used. And you can add custom machining if you'd like to, but most of the time it's 100% automatic. So in this case, you can see we have a slot that's going all the way through. We have a dado, and you can see how we bubble out the edge so that you get a nice square cut on the edge of the dado. So these parts are 100% ready to cut. So if I want to nest them out, I just simply click Export Toolpaths and then click Nest Parts. And then at this point we can select which machine we want to post to. So this is all my active machines that I could post to, but I'll just post to the Como right now. There's a bunch of nest controls here, nest gap, nest margin. There's a quantity multiplier where so I can tell it, let's say I want 5 of these assemblies. And nest place controls which edge of the sheet you'd like it to by default pack to. So I'll leave it right here. There's several nesting methods that you can select from: standard, new, legacy, or block. So I'll just leave it on new. You can also click process as single parts, so it would just create a program for each part rather than nesting them out. So if we're ready to go, click execute, and it will automatically export the DXF files and create G-code, nest and create G-code for this assembly, for actually 5 of these assemblies. It'll also create a label file for each sheet, and the labels for each part will have whatever information you want on them, including the custom properties in SolidWorks. If you have custom properties on each part, you can put those on the label. You can put notes from Pathfinder. All the material information can go on those labels. So it's done nesting now, so I click Open Folder, and here's my output folder. So this is all the G-code and everything I need to cut out these parts. So I could actually walk out there and cut them right now. So you have your G-code, you have your label file for each sheet, and you have a picture representation of each sheet. And you also have this ROU file that's been created, one for each material type. So I'll open this one up. You don't have to open these up, but if you want to open them up and change anything about the nest, you have that ability. And so you can actually toggle through the sheets and see how it's nested and make sure it looks good. And if you want to move a part from one sheet to another, it's very easy to do that in EnRoute. You can change anything you want at this point, but you can see all the machining has been applied, and we are 100% ready to cut at this point. So it's very, very quick and simple to go from a 3D model to G-code using Pathfinder powered by EnRoute.